negative coverage of the economy and the president as support dwindles among Americans. The New Wall Street Journal finds that the economy and inflation are emerging as top concerns for U.S. voters. And the president's job approval, 41% of voters say they approve, but 57%.
Why would I give it to any other man?
Job performance. Well, here with us in
for any
studio,
reason.
Kayleigh McEnany, former White House press secretary, outnumbered co-host, and author of an aptly titled book, For Such a Time as This. Kayleigh, it's great to have you with us.
You're not mad.
I love the title of that book.
And you just wouldn't understand.
I find this so interesting. You've got the president sending staffers out to the media to say, look, can you give us a better shake on the economy? He's not willing to make the case public.
Right.
But he wants to make it behind the scenes. Your reaction to that?
Isn't that ironic? Yeah, he rarely takes questions. He did take a few today, but rarely will he make the case himself. You're exactly right. Look, you know, it is normal to have off-the-record meetings with reporters and try to tell them your version of events. But this seems a little out of the usual because it seems like they're trying to convince a press that covered for them, like with the Hunter story. Hunter Biden, of course, that story never made it out during the campaign because reporters wouldn't cover it. They're expecting the Hunter treatment, but they're not getting the Hunter treatment. So they're trying to coerce reporters.
Why didn't you?
That's how I interpreted it. To give different coverage. And
well, what did you expect them to cover on it? If you're covering, why do they need to cover on it? Wouldn't that be great for your market?
We'll see if they change their tune.
So here, my thing is, if you've got a good case
awesome for your market, pretty much had the corner on it.
As the Biden administration is saying they do, why in the world wouldn't you?
Did you need the other press reporters for somebody to push this suit on your end? Is that what you're?
You know, from an economist perspective,
crazy.
That's kind of the thing I'm saying is, you might not have a story. Right. If you got to go behind the scenes, right?
It's true, although I guess they think they're blasting it to the world through Ron Klain, the chief of staff's Twitter feed. It is like a fairy tale land
Not
on there.
me, SUV. Honey,
I
mean this with all due respect.
Less than enthusiastic.
What is your
spade? He's out there saying that the jobs numbers are good news.
Job numbers?
He's out there saying inflation's a high-class problem. He's out there saying,
careful with the cosmetology center and the girls over at the salon. I'm sure you would do fantastic.
It's the reality that I think is showing up in the polls.
It's not personal. Think about it. You keep digging. What you gotta have.
You just look at your pocketbook. You just look at the receipt.
You like painting?
You look at the top issues for Americans. They're talking about the economy.
You like computer engineering? Do you like? I know you like probably hammering away at the keys. I don't know how much research you're very good with. You got those kinds of things. You got a team that does those things. Learn from them. You got the face. That's the gravity. Everybody's afraid of Doomslayer Hunt. And I want you to go to your best, because that's the one that's out of all of them in the market. Look at the economist. That's the one you need most. Now, I don't know what he's going to tell you about things on the farm to really play your D. How can you trust this? Because that's what you've been living.
And it's reflected in this polling that we've seen.
So, one of the interesting parts of the poll is 63% of Americans saying the country is on the wrong track. So it's not just the economy, of course.
Like I said, you look out for
right here at our building. We
Ukraine, Thailand, or Taiwan, and Mexico dropping all at the same time. I think it's a beautiful play. Personally, I think that's how we make back our coffers on this. When you hear the play, Fox or CNBC, I think that's a fairer. I think it still leads to Democratic Republican bullshit, but it's at least a fairer. The parties are at least described to be packaged here. There can be a little bit of, this is not supposed to be, they play it at least, nobody's Republican or liberal here, and usually somebody gets their dick kicked in every single time it's on here. Not most. Every time. You hear the undertone.
And now we see that at the top alongside the economy. Not good news for Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, you're just looking at the environment. You're saying this lays out a lot like what we saw in 2015, which means do something similar at the ballot box in 2022. I think right now the polls are pointing to that reality.
What was I in 2015? Well, I graduated in 07, so I was deep into my labor thesis by then.
Voters, and what you saw in this poll was with Hispanic voters, Democrats won 60% of Hispanic voters last time around.
Few mills by that point, I'm sure.
Even Republican
Probably a couple of customer services, a hotel, golf course, landscapers. Not really hard. I mean, I can run a lot of machines, but they kept me away from plumbing, probably because I'm a crew wrecker. Electrician as a whole, because, well, you need I'm fine with it across the board because I can make my own space. But when you look at stuff like that, guys, you have to be able to just play it like that. I know, hopefully it played close, not too far off of the crazy on. The reason it works is because you can melt somebody like that.